A significant winter weather pattern is developing across the eastern United States. Sunday's system remains challenging to forecast, but what comes after deserves your full attention. The pattern shift we're about to see hasn't materialized like this in several years. Let me be direct about Sunday. This system has been frustrating to analyze. Models continue shifting, and the confidence level remains lower than I'd prefer. But after Sunday, we're re-entering a pattern that should interest anyone who follows winter weather. Right now, conditions across the country show the contrast we need for what's coming. Eastern Colorado saw temperatures drop to 17 degrees this morning. Wind chills hit 5 degrees. That Arctic air mass is real, and it's positioned to move. Compare that to the Gulf Coast. From Texas through Louisiana into Mississippi, it has been warm and humid. Temperatures running 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Mississippi dealt with severe weather and tornado warnings this morning. That warm, unstable air is about to collide with cold air moving south. South Carolina has been rainy, near record warmth this week. South central Wisconsin was seeing rain this morning. Some areas are already reporting snow starting to fall as that transition happens. Missouri has been quiet, temperatures around 40 degrees, calm conditions. That extended mild spell ends next week. Northeast Florida enjoyed perfect weather for the past 10 days. Clear skies, comfortable temperatures. That changes by Friday. And Maryland, I know many areas have been waiting for snow. 2 years without a major storm in some locations. This pattern shift creates opportunities. Let us address Sunday's system first, then move to what follows. The complexity here involves cold air timing. Models show moisture arriving before adequate cold air works into position. That's the core issue. The 12Z Euro run from earlier today shows the progression. Tonight into early Saturday morning, snow develops across the Mid-South and Ohio Valley. Moderate snow possible, with rain-snow mix extending south toward the Cumberland Plateau. By Saturday morning, moderate to heavy snow affects the North Carolina mountains, especially southwestern areas and the Smokies. The Tri-Cities region of Tennessee into Virginia and West Virginia sees accumulating snow. Saturday night into early Sunday morning presents the challenge. Initial precipitation arrives as rain across much of the Carolinas and Georgia. The cold air hasn't fully worked in yet. By Sunday mid-morning, the Euro shows snow developing as far south as the western Florida Panhandle near Mobile, Alabama. That 540 decameter line drops south, indicating cold air arrival. Sunday afternoon, the model indicates moderate to heavy snow across southern Georgia, the Panhandle, and the South Carolina Lowcountry. Areas like Columbia, Augusta, possibly Charlotte see snow. Eastern North Carolina lags behind because cold air sweeps under the mountains rather than over them. The higher elevations of the Appalachians create a blocking effect. Cold air literally slides underneath, reaching the Gulf Coast faster than it penetrates the Carolinas. By Sunday afternoon, the Euro shows snow in Savannah, Beaufort, Orangeburg, Charleston. Meanwhile, eastern North Carolina remains rain. That is the cold air lag effect. It is flowing down here along the Gulf and it's flowing here in the mountains, but that shallow, dense cold air hits those higher elevations and causes delay getting into central areas. The GFS model tells a similar story with variations. Same overnight pattern Saturday. Rain-snow mix in the mid-south, higher elevation snow in the mountains. Sunday morning, blue shows up on the map as far south as Florida. Southeast Alabama sees snow. It extends nearly to the southern Atlanta suburbs. Moderate to heavy snow develops in southern Georgia. Valdosta could see a snowstorm similar to what they experienced exactly 1 year ago. Rain switches to snow in the central Midlands of South Carolina. By 1 p.m. Sunday, snow reaches Charlotte, nearly to Greenville, Spartanburg. Light snow in Columbia. Heavy snow continues in southern Georgia. This is the classic northwest trend we see with overrunning events. Nothing surprising about it. These systems consistently trend northwest as they develop. Can this reach Atlanta? Can it reach Birmingham, Chattanooga, Greenville, Spartanburg? Absolutely. How far northwest does this continue trending? Can heavier moisture reach Columbia in a band of heavy wet snow? Very possible. The NAM model shows aggressive solutions. One version develops a narrow band of snow at the northwest fringe of precipitation. Atlanta sits right at the edge. Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia on the line. Rain-snow mix initially, then areas that start as rain switch to heavy wet snow. This one to be dry powder snow like some areas saw last year in the low 20s. This is classic southern snow, wet, huge snowflakes. You might go from rain to heavy snowfall rapidly if dynamic cooling occurs in the right spot. Surface temperatures will hit 60 degrees tomorrow across the southeast. 12 to 18 hours later, it's snowing. This setup. The 3-kilometer NAM shows similar progression. By 4 a.m. Sunday, some snow, some rain, trying to switch to snow as far north as Greensboro, Raleigh, Charlotte. By 9 or 10 a.m., snow in Columbia, Raleigh, Charlotte, Augusta, right on the fringe. A couple hours of heavy wet snow can produce an inch just like that. Raleigh gets several hours of snow before the system moves off. The HR model takes a very southeast solution. Moisture doesn't get far enough west to encounter cold air. Nothing but rain. No blue shows up on the map. That's a possible scenario. The RRFS model shows mostly rain, tries to switch some snow in southeast Alabama, central Georgia Sunday morning. Hard to accept this solution. Finally switches to snow and heavy accumulating snow Sunday night. Brief small-scale winter storm in the mid-Atlantic. The latest 18Z Euro run just came in. Looks slightly warmer overall. Still shows that axis of heavier snow in Georgia. The 5-run trend continues northwest movement. Everything ticked west. The heavier precipitation axis is moving west. That's a steady westerly trend. Snowfall accumulations from the National Weather Service show a bubble over South Carolina. Few tenths of an inch possible. An inch or two in the mid-Atlantic. Some snow around the North Carolina-Virginia border. Highlighted area in Georgia calls for an inch of snow in central Georgia. The latest 18Z Euro delivers an inch to inch and a half in central to south central Georgia. Abruptly stops at the South Carolina-Georgia border with dusting amounts in the Carolinas. The Euro ensemble, made up of 51 members creating a mean average, shows signal for snow in Georgia, an inch getting surprisingly far south. There's a gap, then elevated amounts in certain regions. The GFS delivers 2 to 3 inches of snow in southeast, central, middle Georgia. Valdosta gets 2 to 3 inches. Cuts off just like the Euro once you reach central South Carolina. The GFS ensemble looks less impressive. Shows highlighted areas across the mid-Atlantic Tidewater, Delmarva, and southern Georgia. The NAM is aggressive. Central Georgia and South Carolina get a swath of a few inches of heavy wet snow extending into the Columbia area, 2 to 2.5 inches possible. But look how narrow this band is. Cuts off right at Mecklenburg County. Northern Charlotte gets nothing while southern areas get 3 inches. That is not a forecast, just showing model output. The band is tight. Let me address the energy associated with this system. We figured out how to trend this west. The energy digging shows positive tilt. When energy tilts southwest to northeast, that's positive tilt. Neutral tilt means straight up and down. Negative tilt means northwest to southeast, indicating strengthening storm dynamics. We won't come close to negative tilt with this system. Won't even reach neutral tilt anymore. As the energy dives across the southeast, it remains positively tilted, a weak progressive system. But weak systems can still produce. It never gets to that neutral look, maybe out in the Atlantic, but too far too late. My assessment, I am confident areas of Georgia will see accumulating snow, maybe even the Florida Panhandle. Somewhere in Georgia gets an inch or two of wet snow. There will likely be another jackpot area in North Carolina, northeast North Carolina, into the mid-Atlantic. The big question mark sits along the I-95 corridor from Raleigh down to Orangeburg, over to Columbia, up to Charlotte. Will we struggle with cold air lag? The moisture will absolutely be there, especially around Columbia. Plenty of moisture, but cold air lag remains the issue. This system is extremely challenging. I don't think anyone can make a confident forecast with this one. Even the National Weather Service wouldn't say this out loud, but they probably don't know exactly what will happen either. This system deserves that honesty. Now let us shift to what comes after Sunday. This matters more. We re-entering a wild pattern. At 500 millibars, Blues and bluish-green colors show troughing, lower pressure, lower heights, brings cold air and energy. Reds and pinks show ridging, high pressure. Sunday's storm system swings through, then a beefy trough digs down, not super aggressively south initially, but it's coming. Monday brings this trough digging, big spiking ridge all the way into Alaska. We call this negative EPO when Alaska warms up while we maintain positive PNA. This dislodges cold air, creates a dip in the jet, and we get nasty cold air funneling south. Another blast of really cold air moves across the middle to eastern areas of the country. A moderation period follows for the extreme south. Broad ridge develops, but a trough remains up top. This continues funneling cold through the region, creating an active storm track at the boundary between trough and ridge. Very active pattern developing. The trend over the past 24 hours shows something important. 6 to 7 days from now, that big broad trough breaks open the ridge across the southern tier. Watch how the ridge breaks open. The trough is trending further south for the same time frame, next Thursday and Friday. Cold air trending south, storm track trending south. You need to watch next week carefully. This is a trend in the medium range, not long range. Inside 7 days, we relocking into something right after Sunday's system. The ridge tries to show back up, then flexes at the 7 to 10 day mark, then another strong signal for a trough over the eastern U.S. That's a cold and dry look, but plenty of time to trend. Very cold run. Maybe we get a break at the end. This goes all the way out to the morning of January 31st. It's still January 16th. We've been talking so much about the future. We have so much winter still ahead. Temperature-wise, Sunday's storm brings a shot of cold air. Gets very cold again after tomorrow's warm up across the south. Enjoy that. Early next week, Monday into Tuesday, another shot of very cold air. These are very cold anomalies, 20 to 25 degrees below average. For the heart of winter, mid to late January being climatologically the coldest time, when you have 5 to 30 degrees below average, that is genuinely cold. Cold air lingers, you get a brief warm-up, some warmer colors show up, but does it even warm up? By next Thursday, it starts cooling right back down. The warm-up across the south gets thumped away, gets cold again. Look how cold it gets at the end of the run. I told you a few weeks ago, I thought we have a risk of Arctic air the second half of January, maybe an all-out Arctic outbreak. I am more confident now than ever. That is a cold look for late January standards. That cold air bleeds even further south at 300 hours out. Very cold look. What about moisture linking up with this cold air? The jet at 200 millibars, 35 to 40,000 feet up, shows where the jet stream goes, therefore our storm track. As we move into late next week, highlighted areas of orange and red show active storm track. Gets even more active between day 7 and day 10. This is next weekend, next Sunday, a time frame worth watching. The atmosphere gets locked and loaded with an active storm track. Let's look at operational runs for the central U.S., then the eastern U.S. Next Thursday morning already shows some snow in Arkansas, western Tennessee. A week from today, a huge chunk of moisture gets thrown across the plains into the Midwest and Mississippi Valley. Look at that ice storm showing up across Oklahoma, Arkansas, moving into the Mid-South. Not a forecast. Snow on top of that. Pink is freezing rain. The GFS gets something going earlier. Thursday morning, the 22nd shows a wintry mess from Oklahoma through Kansas, Missouri. Don't focus on specifics yet. Cold air presses down. Next Friday, next Saturday shows the same system the Euro shows. A lot of moisture overrunning cold Arctic air. Huge wintry scenario. Not a forecast. Still figuring it out. Then all that moves into the eastern U.S. Continues active past 10 days out. For the eastern U.S., where much of you are located, we need to watch the event midway next week. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, moisture develops. This is in that moderation period where it might warm slightly, but still cold enough for snow as far south as northern Alabama, northern Mississippi on the Euro. Shows a swath of accumulating snow through Tennessee, hitting the mountains, some snow in northern North Carolina into the mid-Atlantic. Then a massive winter storm breaks out across the mid-south, Midwest Appalachians. Cold air comes in, and it shows an ice storm across the Carolinas. Winter storm to the north. Nasty, icy look for next Sunday into Monday. Not a forecast, but already a time frame we rewatching intensely. By MLK Day, we were already talking about another time frame. It has nonstop right now. Past that, cold air digs down, shows snow all the way to Myrtle Beach at 300 hours. Not a forecast. The GFS shows same thing. Next Wednesday, we watch this event. More amped up, warmer on the GFS. Next Thursday evening shows snow across Ohio Valley, Midwest, Mid-South, wintry mess across Tennessee. Cold trying to press down. That system leaves, then the same system the Euro shows. Cold air trying to press down. This is a cold air damming event. How we score east of the mountains. Orange is sleet, pink is freezing rain, shows nasty, huge wintry area across the eastern U.S. Almost a carbon copy of the Euro. Same time frame, massive winter storm across the entire area. Another event after that. Very active look. Climate Prediction Center Day 6 through 10 indicates brief warm-up, but northern sections stay cold. Confidence very high. The further north you get, almost the entire country looks moist. Everyone says cold and dry. Well, it says here it's about to get moist. Backs up everything I showed you. 8 to 14 day outlook, January 24th through 30th. Chances of below average temperatures begin dropping southward. Chances of above average precipitation across the east. The new 3 to 4 week outlook from the 31st to halfway through February, almost Valentine's Day, keeps cold air around across the northeast, mid-Atlantic, upper southeast, and Midwest. This will be an extremely bitterly cold winter across areas of the north. The risk of heavy snow extends with slight risk all the way down to Tennessee in the southern Appalachians. Pretty large area, several day time frame. This will adjust, but the signal is there. Why does it look so cold? We've been discussing this. MJO phases 6, 5, 4, and 3 are warm phases. 3 can work. Phase 7 is transition. Phases 8, 1, and 2 are cold and wintry phases. Where are we and where are we heading? Right now we in phase 6, which is unusual because we about to get winter weather across the southeast in phase 6. Over the next few days we move into phase 7 and stay there only 3 or 4 days. Then almost all guidance shows us getting to phase 8. The golden phase for winter weather and cold across the central and eastern U.S. for the entire last week of January and onward. High latitude blocking, favorable teleconnections, blocking out west, blocking up top, favorable MJO progression. To me, this points to excellent conditions for winter weather. We not done. If you done to get snow Sunday across the southeast, don't get bummed out. There will be other opportunities. Let me be clear about what I am showing you. This is not a forecast in the traditional sense. This is model guidance. When I show National Weather Service forecast graphics, that actual forecast amounts from the National Weather Service, human forecasters. All the other material is model guidance. I don't make my own personal forecast graphics. I give you my take on what could happen, but I don't create separate state snowfall graphics. If I did that, you could say that my forecast. When I show the NAM indicating 4 to 5 inches on Raleigh, I'm not saying that will happen. That what the NAM model shows. I'll give you my opinion, which is that it's probably overdone. But my opinion would be that we could get a few inches of wet snow in that axis. Very possible. That the overachieving scenario. The underachieving scenario is everyone gets rain. I don't think there will be much dry scenario. If you stay dry, chances are you reforecast to be dry. Atlanta, Greenville, Spartanburg, Charlotte, Greensboro. Weather forecasting, especially winter weather in the south, remains challenging. Models shift. Cold air behaves unexpectedly. Moisture arrives too early or too late. That is the reality. What I can tell you with confidence is the pattern after Sunday looks active. Very active. Cold air will be available. Storm systems will develop. The question becomes timing and track, which we'll monitor as systems get closer. For Sunday, prepare for the possibility. Southern Georgia, you have the best chance at accumulating snow. North Carolina mountains, you will see snow. The Mid-Atlantic might see a band develop Sunday night. Central South Carolina, Central North Carolina, that I-95 corridor, it's genuinely uncertain. Could go either way. After Sunday, eyes turn to midweek next week. Then next weekend, multiple opportunities developing. The pattern supports it. The cold air supports it. Now we watch how individual systems develop. Stay informed. Check the National Weather Service for your specific area. Their local forecasts incorporate local expertise and real-time observations. Monitor conditions as they develop. Winter weather can change quickly, especially in marginal setups like Sunday. We'll continue monitoring everything. Updates coming tomorrow morning, then through the weekend as Sunday's system approaches. Then we immediately pivot to what follows, because what follows might matter more than Sunday itself. This pattern won't last forever, but while it's here, it creates opportunities we haven't seen consistently in recent years. If you're a winter weather enthusiast, pay attention. If you need to prepare for potential impacts, now is the time. If you're tired of winter, I understand, but this is what January typically brings. The pattern is setting up. The pieces are moving into place.